This conference will now be recorded.
So in last class, we have started seeing of your Adobe Forms. We have started seeing of your Adobe Forms. So why we have to use an Adobe Forms? It's an universal format, which universal format. So as I told you yesterday, it's an universal format, and it can be accepted by every system if they have an Adobe Reader, or if they installed an Adobe Reader, they can easily view the file, and there will be no differences or no color changes, nothing. Whereas when you go ahead with your scripts or when you go ahead with your smart forms, as I told you earlier, so we will convert the data into a binary format. So for this we do have some function modules that are available. So go ahead and check it in Google. How can we convert a smart form output into a PDF? So PDF, and we need to transfer to the third party system. So like that, you go ahead and refer to the Google. So we will be converting into the binary format, and then from this binary we will be converting into OTF format. From this OTF format, then we will be converting that into our PDF format. So this much of a big chunk of a code we have to write down when we are using your when we are working with your smart forms as well as your scripts. So maybe when we are transferring this, there can be some changes that can be happened, or there can be some color reductions, or anything can happen. As this is converting into a binary format, compressions and everything is going to take it up. So there can be a chances. So that's the main reason. So people currently are not using the scripts as well as your smartphone. Smartphone still we are using it up in some of our clients who have been with SAP from past 15 years. But right now, who are going to install their SAP in the landscape, we have to use only the Adobe Forms. So that much most important. We need to learn about your Adobe Forms. Now, coming to this, when we want to work with an Adobe Form, as the smart form and script are are already provided by SAP. So we don't need to install any software kind of a stuff provided by SAP. Whereas for the Adobe Forms, need to install, we need to install Adobe Lifecycle Designer. Adobe Lifecycle Designer has to be installed when we are working with our Adobe Forms. So this is some of the most important thing. So based upon your GUI logon pad, so we have the versions for ADV also, ALC, sorry, ALC also, ALD, Adobe Lifecycle Designer also, we have the versions. So like if you are using SAP 760, we have an Lifecycle Designer called as 11, or if you are using below that, we have something called as your 10.5, like that. We do have the Lifecycle Designer. So these softwares you need to get it from your softwares we need to get from SAP basis or from your IT team of your company. You have to get this because we don't have an access to download these softwares. But whatever the softwares which I have added to your drive. So I have also added that. I told you I have also added the software to your drive in yesterday's class. uh, so this is the one. So this is also not the original one. So might be a original or might not be an original, but the original softwares only you have to install it. Don't install the unnecessary other software. So get the software from SAP basis or from SAP or from your IT team. So they will download this software from SAP Marketplace. So we have a marketplace where So where we have to download all our software. So we have for every software. So even SAP GUI also we have to download it from our marketplace only. So we should not use the software. So but if it is providing by your IT team or if it is providing by basis team, that should be fine. But if whatever I provided it, don't use that in your real-time systems. So you have to get it from your basis or you have to get it from your IT team. So SAP GUI, this is one software we have to use. SAP Adobe Lifecycle Designer, ALD, this is another software. And the third one is Eclipse. So you might be already knowing of the Eclipse. So this is one more software. And if you want some other any cloud connector softwares, we have to get it from the required cloud connector softwares. But as per our ABAP right now, these are the three softwares which we are using it up, and we need to install these softwares in your laptop without failure. So these are the things. Now, next coming back. So once we install this, because when I go ahead with your SFP transaction code, which is mainly used for to your creating of your Adobe forms. So I'm just installing the Adobe Lifecycle Designer. So we will see whether it is going to work in this system or not. If it is not going to work in this system, I can't able to design the layout. But anyways, as I told you earlier, so I'm going to provide you the let me check that one. So SFP. So now I'll go ahead and create my form and click on my change mode. And then I'll go, either you can use your layout over here or you can use your layout over here. So both are the same. So I'm just going to select this layout and we will see it is connecting to your lifecycle designer. So it will open you in a separate screen. It will open that in a separate screen. So where you can design your form pages, whatever the form pages you have, you can design that. So once I have connected to my once I have added this, so now it is able to connecting this, but it will be very slow. I'm telling you guys, and don't parallelly open two Adobe lifecycle sessions in one single screen. Don't parallelly open. So if you want to open that, you have to use another laptop. It will be very dead slow. Even in your real-time systems also, it will be very dead slow. Now we need to get the things. So in order to get the things, so you have to go to your uh, palettes. So this is one of the main thing which we have to go ahead, and then we need to add our layout, whatever the layout you want. So here you can able to see all the things. So whatever the things you have, so the library things and everything. Now if I want to insert a table, you can just insert the table over here, and how many columns you want and how many rows you want, you can just go ahead and add that rows and your columns. And then in that you have to provide the table. So include the table header also. We are just including the table header. So in that we have to provide our text. So before that, let me show you how can we go ahead with our text tools. So here, so whatever the thing in the insert, you have to go to your insert and you have to select whether you want a push button or a checkbox or a circle or a text button or a table or text field, anything you can able to provide. So let me take you this as my text. So what is your text you want to add? So now, so let's say I want to add that as my sales order. So I'm going to have this as my the sales order details. Sales order details. This is how my text will be. Now, if I want to add a text with the, uh, if I go here, if I want to add a text field. So now, what is your text field? So let's say I want to add this as my sales order number. I'm just going to add this as my sales order number. So I want to get here the sales order number. is this? Yeah, so go to here this object, and you have to bind your value. So whatever the value you want previously in Adobe form, or in your smart form, you will be creating a window, right? We will be creating a window. In that we will be providing a text. In that we will be bind the value, or we will be assigning the value. So how you will be assigning the value? With the help of your ampersand and the variable, and the last we will be providing that as your ampersand. Over here the same way, you have to go ahead and bind. So here it will show you the binding. So just click on this. Here you will be having an F4. So you have to select this, and from where you need to bind this value. So select this one. This is the issue with this. So it will open your structure. So whatever the structure you have, it will be just opening that. So let me check that if you have already the fields that has been assigned. So let me go back here. So sorry, in the context menu, sorry, my fields has not there. That's the reason it's not showing up. Yesterday we forgot to save this one, I guess. So let me add that to over here. So this is my structure, as well as this is my internal table. I'm just providing my structure as well as my internal table. Now let me save this one, and let me go to your layout and allow. So even we can't able to activate your form also, because when we want to activate, it has to connect it to your Adobe server to activate this form. So but as I told you, these are not our real-time systems. We can't able to activate this one also. So I'm just going to, so I'll just delete this one. So now what I will do, I'll come here, I'll put it this over here. So now I want to bind. So let me go here. Now you can able to see what is the value you want to bind. What is the value you want to bind? Whether you want to bind your VBA-LN. So I want to bind this. Now, so it will ask you whether the same properties has to be updated, or you want to change your properties. So now I'm just going to update with my same properties. That's it. Now this value has been gets binded. This value has been gets binded. Now in this value, if you in this field, if you want to make this as a check button, or an HTML button, HTML submit button, or a reset button, you can able to do that over here. So you can change the field type also from here once you define your text field. And whether you want to whether you want a shrunken box, or whether you want a solid box, or whether how many boxes you want, you can just go ahead and provide that one. So shrunken is it based upon your page, it will be gets adjusted the data. So that's what your shrunken box is. So so allow multiple lines, we don't need that allow multiple lines, because the data will be going to be sufficient. So now so like this you can able to do that in your layout, where exactly you're going to place this thing. So you can just provide your the width and the height. So and where you want, from your top left or middle or center. So if I go ahead and take this as center, or it will align here to your center, it will align the value, whatever the value you are going to provide. So here it will just print up your value, right? So that value, whether you want to do that in your center, or whether you want that in your left aligned, or whether you want that in the right aligned, so you can able to do that one. All those things you can able to do that. And in the accessibility, so anything you want to provide it, you can just provide it. So or else you don't need to provide that. We don't worry about the accessibility, we'll just go ahead and do that one. Now this is what we have to do it in case of your binding. So you have to do everything in a binding mode only. Everything in a binding mode. So everything we have to do it in a binding mode. That's one more thing. Okay. So now the next one, if I want to insert another thing, So now anything, if whatever you want, you can just insert this. The barcodes, whatever you have, you can just go ahead and provide your all your barcodes, even the QR code, everything, whatever you have, whatever we are going to use that in our real time. That every code they have been just provided it over here, and just you just need to assign your binding. That's the one thing you have to do it. And then in this palettes, so you can able to write your JavaScript over here. So if I want to change something, or if I want to add some conditions over here, so you can able to write your JavaScript. So the script editor. So I just close my script editor. Now let me open my script editor. You can able to see here your script editor. So from where you want to write your code, you can just write down your code. So show initialize, or whether you want to calculate any field, you can do your calculations with the help of your Java language. This is a place where you will be writing your Java code. So to be frank, even I'm also don't know. So when I get a requirement, what I will do is all I will do is to get those details from your interface. I will be adding a field over here, and I will be copying the field to my context menu, and I will be binding that field. That's what I will be doing it up in my case, because I'm not familiar with the Java. So frankly, I'm telling, but you will be having a JavaScript where you can just write your Java, where you can just write your Java related stuff, and you can do all your calculations. So calculations, so what you want, everything you can able to do it. Everything you can able to do it. But all these things also I have just provided in my videos, in the videos which I'm going to share you. You can able to get all those things too. So the language also, see here, the JavaScript only we will be running it up. Okay, so this is how you will be doing it. As I know, we can't able to activate this one. So if I go ahead and activate also, where is this? Let me close this one. If I go ahead and activate also, it will throw you an error. It will throw you an error. See here, so framework. So HTTP receive communication with an exception failure. So this so framework. So when you are getting this error in your real time, so sometimes in real time also you will be getting this error. When you are getting this error, you just need to take a copy of this and just send it to basis team. So basis will go ahead and configure that one. So by adding the certificates that are needed, by adding the certificates that are needed for our Adobe, so then you can able to activate that. Till that time, even in your real time also, you can't able to activate your Adobe Forms. Your Adobe Forms. So as I told you earlier, once you designed your Adobe Forms in the driver program, in the driver program, we need to get the data. We need to get the data, and then we need to call call three function modules. What are those? One is fp underscore job underscore open. So this is first function module you need to call. So and you need to provide a job name. So and then you need to call fp underscore function module underscore name, function module underscore name. Here we need to pass our Adobe form, and it will provide us it will provide us the generated function module, generated function module. And then we need to call the function, the call function, and we have to call your generated function module. You have to call that one, and once you call that one, you just need to provide your parameters and everything. And then we will be using your fp underscore your job underscore your close, job underscore your close. So these are the 4 steps you have to remember. Now how to debug the Adobe form. So in order to debug this, we will put a breakpoint, put a breakpoint in the interface. We'll keep a breakpoint in the interface, and then once we execute the program, execute the program, once we execute the program, we will it will the system will open the ABAP debugger. The system will open the ABAP debugger. So this is the thing. So this is how you have to go ahead and debug your Adobe Forms too. This is how you have to go ahead and debug your Adobe Forms, and this is what you have to do it. So as I can't able to activate and everything, I can't able to write the piece of ABAP logic also for this Adobe Forms. Not only here, whatever the systems you are going to take it from the market. From the market, that means not your real-time systems. These are all dummy systems. So in all these dummy systems, you can't able to work with your Adobe Forms. I have tried almost like till my training career, I have tried almost like 10 to 15 servers. So no one is going to provide this Adobe's. No one is going to provide this Adobe server. So that's the main reason I can't able to do that one. Now, when I go ahead and show you how can we work with our table also, I'll just show you with the table. Let me open that layout. Even you can able to call your system fields and everything. So now if I go to and insert table, or you can go here and insert, and here you will be having your table too. So now the same thing, whatever you want. So how many columns you need? POSNR, MATNR, quantity, unit, price, 6 columns. 6 columns with let's take 3 rows. I'm just going to take this 3 loads. So include a header row of the table and include a footer row. Okay, or you can also create a table with assistance. So see how you want, you can just go ahead and create your table and where exactly you want. So now I just want, let's say I want 6 columns, 6 columns, and okay, 6 columns, and the number of body rows as 2. So now I'll just click on next. So what is as a header row? Yes, next. As a footer row? No footer row. So if you want, you don't need to put this. And then sections. So whatever the sections you want, I'll just click on next. And if you want any row shading, you can just provide your row shadings. And I'm not going to provide any row shadings, and then click on finish. Now you can able to see here your tables. Sorry, you can able to see here your table. Now here in the binding, so what you are going to bind? So I'm just going to bind my GT underscore VBAK data. So you are going to bind your GT underscore VBAK data, and then in this header, you just need to provide your text. Whatever the text you have, you just need to provide this one. So now in this header, this, yeah, yes. So just double click on this and just provide your details. So I'm just going to provide that as your what I'm just going to provide a item number. So this is the one. Now the next one. What is the next one? I just want that as your material number. So what is your next one? So quantity, and then what is this unit? So whatever the unit you have, I'm just going to provide that one unit, and then price and price unit. Price unit. So now here in this row 1, price unit, In this row 1, we just need to bind this data. We have already binded at the table level with the help of your data. And so for cell 1 also, we have to just provide this. What is the field you want? Runtime property? No, no, no. My accessibility. Insert. So here also we just need to provide that one. So that's what I'm doing it up. Somewhere some things are not coming up. So which one you want? So I just want here. So you need to go to your data view and just drag and drop over here. So this is the one I want to drag here and drop it here. Or else you can just say, so whatever the fields you want, you just have to drag and drop over here. But here, this is my postner. So I'm going to drag here and drop here. Okay. So that's the one. So now the material I just going to drop here and drop here. Oh, sorry. I'm just going to drag here and drop here. So this is my material number, and then this is my KWMENG, and then this is my VRKMENE, VRKMENE, and then this is my NETPR. So I'm just going to drag it, and then WERAK. So this is what I just binded this one. Now, even at the same time, if you want to create a date, just drag here and drop here. Drag here and drop here. So let me, so you can, it will always be created with the help of your text field and see whatever this thing. And what is your, whether it's a date format or time format or date time format, you can just provide that one, the date format. Now, let's say, for example, they want that as a different date format. So maybe it is using some system format. If they want that as a separate format, then what you have to do, whatever the format you want, they just go ahead and convert that into a string, and you convert that value what exactly they needed the formatted date, and get that and bind that over here, get that and bind that over here. So that's what we have to do it. So we'll be just calling this sales organization, and we can just call it distribution channel. So if you want, you can just change the names also. Everything is possible. Like that, you just need to provide whatever the data you have. You just go here to your data view, and then you can just do a drag and drop. So automatically it will do it, or you can just go ahead and create a text field and you can just assign that one. You can just assign that one. So this is the one which you have to do it in case of your Adobe Forms. Like this, you have to assign your details, and at the last, let's say for example, I want to assign this. You can just go here and just create insert a standard and a text button. I'm just going to, sorry. Okay, so I'm just keeping this text as it is as of now. So for this also we just, okay, I just got it. So any text you want, you can just provide that one. So as if you don't want, I'll just select this and I'll just go ahead and delete this one. Okay, so now I'll go to your insert, I'll go to my text field, and now what I will do, I'll be just taking up over here as your total total, and then I'm just going to bind that. So what if you have any binding value, you can just go ahead and bind that one. So now I'm just going to say, let's say netwr. So I'm just going to bind that value. I will bind that value. So that's what you have to do it in case of your net value. So but I just told you, but here we have to take a variable, and we have to collect that entire value, and then we will be binding that one. So this is all about your Adobe form in overview. So but as I told you earlier, so I do have almost like 10 hours of live session, which I have learned when I was in my previous company. So that videos I'm going to share it with you guys. So but as I told you, that will be having only a 1 month access, 1 month access only. In that 1 month access, you have to learn, and you have to get that clarification. You have to take your own notes. You have to take your own notes, and keep that with you guys. Okay. So this is all about your Adobe Forms. From tomorrow onwards, we are going to start it with our enhancements. So the next topic in this, we have covered all about your in RISEF. We have covered the reports, and we have covered the forms. These are the major big topics, and in tomorrow's class we are going to start it with your E, which is nothing but enhancements. In the enhancements, basically we have four things. One is your user exit, the customer exit, baddie. So we have baddie, and then we have your spots, and then you have your BTEs. Sorry, five things, BTEs. So all these five concepts, maximum it will take 7 hours of your time, not more than that. By that we will be completing this, and then we will be seeing about your interfaces and conversions. In that we are going to teach you about your BDC, so which will take you 4 hours, and then BAPI, which will take you again another 4 hours, and then we'll be going to see with your iDocs, which will be taking you around 3 hours, 3 hours of your session. By that we will be completing uh, your interfaces and the conversions as well as your interfaces, and then we will be starting with your OData services, which will be taking you around like 5 hours, 5 hours, and then your CDS views, which will be again taking you around 7 hours, and the new ABAP syntaxes, which are only explicit for your HANA, everything will be taking almost like your 10 hours. By that, we will be completing your entire course, whatever I have been committed for you guys. Whatever I've been committed, I have just completed my entire course. That's it. So as I already know that you have to go to your office. So tomorrow I'm going to take 2 hours of your session tomorrow, and day after tomorrow also, and even I might take a session on this Saturday too. But tomorrow I'll be confirming you by today end of the day, because tomorrow is an elections in Hyderabad, in Telangana state. So I just need to know whether the server is going to up and running up. If the server is up and running, so then I will be taking up the class, or else I'll be taking up the class on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So to compensate for this Thursday's class. By that we will be completing your complete enhancements. Okay, so that's it. So that's the end of today's session. Before I signing off for today's session, any other questions? Okay, I'll be considering it as no questions, and we'll meet you tomorrow at the same time, and we'll continue with our session. Thank you all.